So I'm just very pleased today to introduce to you a woman who was a very important and professional woman in the state of Indiana and Purdue, and like many of us, started to lose her vision and had to make a decision. She had to make a decision whether or not she was going to let it take her or if she was going to take it. How many of us in here have had to make that decision? And Virginia decided that she was going to take it on, and so she did, and took herself to the Miami Lighthouse and began her training. And within 4 years, Virginia became the new CEO and president of the Miami Lighthouse. Pretty impressive. I could go on, and I did yesterday a bit, and I also provided to you her bio as well as her co-author, Doug Eadie, in your program, and I know that you've all read that. You also all have received a copy of her book, and print, and braille, or in sound recording, and I know that you will enjoy it on your ride home, and perhaps get it signed by Virginia today. But at this moment, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Virginia Jacko.
It is truly an honor to be here, and there is no way that I would have said too busy, because it is people like you that gave me the skills that I have to do what I do. In fact, whenever I do a tour at the Miami Lighthouse, and I stop, for example, with one of our orientation mobility instructors, I always like to introduce whoever I'm giving the tour to, saying something like, any of you know Carol Brady Simmons? I say yes. And she had me cross 26th and Flagler, which is 8 intersections going in both directions, with my cane. There could even be days she wishes that she looked the other way as I crossed. But my personal management skills, my braille skills, my computer skills, I did that all at the Miami Lighthouse. And if it was not for people like you, I would now just be home, alone, depressed, and very sad. And so I thank all of you because of what you do every day, transforming people's lives. It's just incredible. And I am one of them, so thanks for transforming me and people like me. I rose the ladder of business office at Purdue University, first as a half-time business manager, a mother that was torn between staying home with my 3 children and going out into the business world again. And then after being a half-time business manager, when my boss said, you know, we've got this 3/4-time job we know you'd really like to have, and God bless my mother, she said, 3/4 time, you still don't get benefits at Purdue. Tell them you want a full-time job and find a babysitter. That's the kind of mother I had, pretty modern mother, and I did just that and kept getting promotions until I became the Director of Financial Affairs for the President and Provost of Purdue University. But toward that part of my career, I had a secret. I was slowly losing my vision. And I was so afraid to tell the executive leadership. I knew there were a lot of people that wanted my job as a sighted person, so imagine if they knew I was having trouble seeing. And I suspect some of you here have had that feeling if you had vision loss later in life. I remember going to a big conference, the first time I ever went to a conference, and it was Foundation Fighting Blindness, and I was still hiding my blindness. I was just kind of peeking around the corner. And someone from Gillette was on the panel, and he had RP like I. And I raised my hand and I said, when do you tell your employees that you're losing your vision? And he said to me, when you think the time is right, but you only have to tell one person, I promise you it'll spread very fast. And so, you know, I was starting to do things like miss a new hire that I had just hired and not say hello, because with RP you kind of can't see in the corners first. And I hired someone, I was at a conference, and she said, Virginia, did I do something wrong? How come you didn't say hello to me? Or when I get ready to shake someone's hand and you miss it. One time one of the vice presidents said, Virginia, do you know something about my hand I don't? You would shake my hand? And of course he thought it was a joke. And I was aching inside because it was so hard to hide my vision loss. So finally, after making lots of mistakes, but I'll tell you the humor of one of them. All of the business entities that were not in the academic schools reported to me, so business manager for libraries, international programs, research, student hospital. There was 15 of those kind of units. And I would have a brown bag lunch. So on this Monday morning, when I'd have the brown bag lunch, this particular weekend, my brother came from Indiana University, and he was a beer drinker, and we weren't. We preferred wine, so in the refrigerator, he had put his beer that he brought. But on Monday morning, I forgot that. And I said to myself, you know, it's brown bag day, make yourself a lunch. And, you know, real fast, I throw together a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, put that in my brown bag, and grabbed my Coke. I thought it was Coke. Put it in the brown bag. And now it's, you know, 10 minutes before 12, and in the conference room, you know, so diligent-like, I lay my sandwich out, I lay my supposed Coke out, I leave the room, and I go and I talk to the provost, whose office was next to mine. Now, all of my direct reports start coming in, and I go in, oh, hi everyone, how y'all doing today? Sitting next to me was the senior business manager for libraries, and as I get ready to slowly pop open that Coke, he leans over, and mind you, Purdue's pretty conservative. There's no alcohol on the Purdue campus. He leans over and he says, Virginia, I didn't know that we could have beer at lunch. I wanted to die.